Greetings, unfortunate souls. Legends say to climb the mountains of madness on a dark and stormy night, like this very night. And listen closely to this episode. One can hear the most depraved and sinister embodiment of UberCast X.
Fear is an emotion induced by threat, perceived by living entities, which causes changes in brain and organ function, and ultimately change in behavior, such as running away, hiding, or freezing from traumatic events. Fear may cause a response to specific stimulus happening in present or in future situations, which is perceived as a risk to health or life.
Hi, I'm Jon. Welcome to UberCast X, the spooky episode. An episode that deals with fear. And, of course...
I'm Clayton Boone, also known as Bagul.
Nice. And, of course, our special guest...
In humans and animals, fear is...
Okay, that's enough. That's Tom.
Hello.
How you been, Tom? Welcome back to the show. It's been a while, huh?
It's been 36 episodes, John.
36 episodes. Back when we were a different show and we actually didn't make that show. But anyway, welcome to the show. This is our spooky episode. We have a bunch of special guests on today telling their spooky stories, some of which are spookier than others, that's for sure. We're going to have Tom tell us some spooky something. I don't know what. He didn't really tell me yet, but what about you? I hear you've got some legendary...
Man. Yeah, I got some ancient legends, and I have a spooky event that happened to me.
No way.
Oh, yeah, it's prepare to shit your fucking pantses.
Oh, my God. That's quite a promise.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a very different episode than usual. We're not going to be talking about the news this week. We're not talking about what video games we've been playing, though I got to say, Axiom Verge, man, that's my game of the week. It's great. Talk about it in episode 14, of course. But, anybody watching scary movies this week?
Scary movies?
No.
Me neither.
No, not really. Yeah. Off to a good start. Woo! All right, so it was a special thanks to our Vincent Price at the beginning of the episode. We really appreciate you being Vincent Price for us.
Yeah. No, it was the real guy.
It's the real guy, yeah.
Yeah, we got a necromancer to dig up his body and fuck it until he came back to life.
Craig the necromancer.
Craig the necromancer.
That's the guy, yeah.
Amazing neck beard.
Well, fantastic. Well, Vincent Price was on the show. That's something we could say. We've got our first celebrity.
Yeah.
Aside from Tom and, of course, Ralph, who will also be telling a spooky story somewhere in the show tonight. So, and of course, when you are listening to it, we already know it is at night.
Nighttime.
In a tub with water.
Just curl up with your cats in the bathtub and listen to our show. This is the optimal listening experience for UberCast X. So welcome aboard. Okay, so how should we proceed, folks? Because we got a real spooky episode. We got lots of really scary shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe we should give people like pointers on what to do if they are scared.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really... Okay, guys, I know that you're probably not used to being scared, so like this is going to be something... This whole experience will be something very unique for you. So okay, what can we do for our listeners? What can we do for the UberClass? Lord Boone, why don't you teach the UberClass about how to deal with their fear?
Well, class, if you're afraid, just realize what you're afraid of is nothing compared to my my strap. So if you show any fear, I'm gonna let you have it.
So, Tom, you're our resident biologist, and of course you're the expert on fear because you just went on that rant that you came up that was all off the top of your own head, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So what is a medical, because also you're a doctor.
Yes.
Medically speaking, what is the best thing to do when you're feeling too much fear?
Is just dial 911.
Yeah.
Tell the operator everything.
Yes, exactly.
And keep them on the line for as long as possible.
Okay, good. So that way 911 will no doubt walk you through the situation.
Yeah.
They may say that it's not important, but that's just because they're trained to do that. This is normal. You just have to be like, no, trust me, and then tell your story from the start again, and they will definitely take it seriously.
Yeah. It's not illegal.
No.
Sir, this is not an emergency. No, seriously. I'm afraid that if I use my pizza cutter, I'm going to cut off all my fingers. Sir, you're going to be charged for this. No. I'm afraid, man.
This is fear. So, like I say, this is the examination of fear, this whole episode. So, let's start off. I've got a creepypasta that I'm going to read, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, okay. And you know what? That's it. Oh, my goodness.
The scary dog.
It's a scared dog that's also frightening somehow. Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a long one, and of course you may hear the cracking of the fire. We're doing something a little different this week. We are filming in the usual room that we film in, but we have lit a campfire in the middle of the room. And so far there's no reason to be concerned. And definitely no fear in this room.
No.
Let me tell you.
No.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
I call this story The Thing That Stalks the Fields. Okay. And bear with me, this is my first time reading one of these with a microphone in my face. It was a few weeks ago that the hay bales started creeping slowly away from the house. Every morning when I woke up, each had moved a few hundred feet from where it was before. I assumed it was pranksters with nothing better to do, so I ignored it.
Well, it could have been the wind. I think it...
Have you... Okay.
The wind?
The wind.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, well, whatever, man.
Nice reference, okay. Anyway, the wind can't move hay bales, they're heavy. Okay, anyway, so I ignored it anyway. Within a few days, though the bales began to approach the boundaries of the farm, I was tired of the whole game by then and decided to move them back. It took a tedious hour to bring them all from where they were to over near the house again, and by the time I was done, I was ready to snap the neck of whatever little pissant was deciding to screw with me.
Like even if it is something frightening doing this, it's lazy. If it took like a week for this thing to do it, and then he's just like, "Nah, we're done."
Oh, that's true. They're like during the night, they're like, "Let's do a little pushing and let's go home."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not how the story goes. Anyway, the next morning, I found each and every one of my horses messily decapitated. The smell was what woke me up. Each one was slumped over against the side of its stall. There were no signs of the heads. I spent the rest of the day cleaning up the mess and burying the remains. It was only when I was done that I noticed the bales of hay had all returned to their positions from the day before, scattered far out into the fields. This time I left them where they were. That night, I sat on my porch with my shotgun in hand and a pot of coffee on the table beside me. I sat for hours, straining my eyes into the fields to catch a glimpse of who was moving my hay bales.
Wait. Where'd the heads go?
They didn't tell us.
You know what? I bet they were jammed up the horse's ass.
Oh my god. Really?
Did he check the ass?
This would be the perfect time to dial 911.
Yes, if you're just a reminder, if you are afraid right now, this is the time.
Yeah.
My horse's heads are gone. Should I check the horse's ass for the heads?
Yeah, I think you should probably check those horses' asses.
Good God.
Sir, you have to hang up. This is every week you keep calling.
Okay, guys, come on. Fear. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Scary dog. Okay. Finally, I was beginning to nod off. I would have, but just as my eyes began to close, I heard a clamor and rustling of trees from the nearby woods. I leaned forward, my heart racing with excitement. I was going to catch the bastard. I fumbled with my gun and fidgeted in my seat, waiting anxiously for whoever it was to get close enough to ambush. It was only when the thing got close enough for me to make out its silhouette in the dark that I was frozen still. The thing that crept into my fields from the nearby woods didn't seem to notice me sitting there. I stalked, hunched, and deliberate It stalked, hunched, and deliberate through...
Deliberate?
That's what it says.
Like it was illiterate and deliberate?
Yeah.
It was deliberately reading incorrectly.
Oh, no, it stalked,
Okay.
hunched, and deliberate. Like it was doing it. It was
Oh, is
stalking.
like deliberating?
It was but it was deliberately like it was like I know what I'm doing. I've got a plan. I got a plan. You know.
Oh, it had a plan.
And it's hunched while it's doing it. It was, I got a plan. I'm hunched. I'm moving.
How
you know?
how did he know this? Like, what body posture does this animal have to know that it deliberately is like
that's a good
thinking
point.
about stuff?
I don't know. This is really poorly written.
It probably had like a determined look on his face.
Yeah, that's it. It's probably like it probably had a to-do list in its hand. And it was like, hey,
a furrowed brow.
yeah.
It had the top of the list was cut the heads off horses. Second one was shove it up their asses. Both crossed out. Clearly, horse heads in asses.
Okay, so it stalked through the field with the posture of a tiptoeing thief. If not for the fact that it must have towered over 10 feet tall.
Like a giant wily coyote.
Yeah, kind of like that. In its crouched position, it might have seemed almost frail. The thinness of its arms and legs and emaciated, caved-in quality of its chest reminded me of a starving animal. Still, this thing was undeniably strong, and I watched it hoist each bale up into its arms with ease, and set it down carefully.
Only
a while
few
away.
inches away.
Only a few inches away. Taking only a few strides to cover the distance. I watched it work, moving each bale thoughtfully. Every once in a while, it would straighten up to look around at the other bales' positions on the field before adjusting the one it was working on ever so slightly. Before it left, it looked towards the house. I felt its eyes sweep over me in the dark, but whether it saw me or not, I couldn't tell. Then it turned silently and crept back the way it came, disappearing into the dark of the woods. It took me an hour before I had the courage to move at all. I went inside after a while, but didn't sleep that night. It was only when the sun rose that I dared step off my porch into the fields. The hay bales were where it left them. Strangely, it didn't move them as far as it had in the previous days. Probably because of the horse heads, right? Yeah, okay. They were approaching something invisible in the field, and as I looked at them, I realized that they seemed to be marking some lines. Indeed, as I walked around the house, I saw the distinct circle that they formed, with me at the center. At first, I thought the bales were just moving haphazardly, moved away from the house, but now I could see they were instead being moved towards some boundary. The thing was sending me a message. I slept uneasily that night, and only because I was exhausted. The next morning, the bales hadn't moved at all. They didn't move at all for the rest of the week, in fact. They were finally where the thing wanted them to be. I made myself sick trying to interpret them. Why would this thing expend so much energy moving my hay bales and threaten me with such violence? Should I try to interfere? No. Violence, should I try to interfere? Whoops.
Well, no, I think this thing used to be in a dorm room and shared a room with someone. And it's like, you gotta stay on your side of the line, dick. And he puts the tape down.
Oh.
And, you know, he's adamant about that shit.
So, do you think he's just like a pissed off co-ed?
Yeah.
I think the issue here is that you should be reading this in the fashion of Stuart McLean.
Don't know who that is.
No, you know,
I know Stuart McLean. I don't think I can do. Can you do it? No, I do know who Stuart McLean is.
Maybe we should get Stuart McLean here.
Hello, I'm Stuart McLean.
Morally, move the hay bales. I know, that's all I got. I ruined it.
It's okay. Killing my horses was just that, a threat. An intelligent threat at that. It knew what would scare me, and it knew that I would understand the implications. The sound of an automobile working its way down the road to my farm one morning gave me a little rush of excitement. I'd been planning to abandon the farm since I saw the thing, but I couldn't hope to leave on foot without risking it treating me like it treated my horses and putting my head up my own ass. If I could get in the car with whoever was coming my way, it might be able to escape before it could stop me. I didn't know or care who it was. I decided that moment they stopped the car, I would jump in the passenger seat and tell them to get the hell out of here. I didn't get the chance. The car worked its way slowly along the road, trundling along the uneven ground. I urged it slightly to hurry. It was when it passed between the two bales placed on either side of the road that I began to hear a booming clatter from the woods. The thing burst suddenly from between the trees, sprinting on all four of its terrible gangly limbs towards the car.
Wait, who was driving the car? Was it What if it was Richard Nixon? That'd be crazy. I'd be like, what? Richard Nixon?
Yeah, that's the really impressive part, not the gangly random thing.
Yeah, it's Richard Nixon.
Oh, get in the car. I'll save your ass. We've only got a minute to get out of here. Don't worry, if that thing comes, I'll fuck it up.
If only it were Richard Nixon. Yeah. If only it were Richard Nixon.
The end.
It's a very long story, actually. No, we're almost done. Within a few seconds, it was there, pouncing on the automobile like a predatory cat. Within moments, it was picking and peeling the vehicle's steel frame apart, working to get at the driver. The man, Richard Nixon, whoever he was, screamed all the while, and I could hear him even over the crunching metal and shattering of glass.
Roar! Get off my fucking car!
It was only when the thing crushed him carelessly in its hands, and then the screaming stopped.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It tossed him away and straightened up to look at me once again in the sunlight.
Fuck! I'm not dead yet.
It went back and crushed him again, ripping his body apart, putting its fingers up its nose, and pulling out his brain stem.
Oh, I can't smell anything, you bastard.
It turns out Nixon didn't need his brain. Nixon was beyond all that. He had an antenna on his head beaming in signals. He was a robot. Nixon stood up quickly, ripping the monster to shreds and shooting laser beams all over the farm. The lasers were too powerful, and instead accidentally killed the poor old man looking out his window watching the monster.
And who was initially reading this in the first person somehow.
Richard Nixon finished the story and then flew away into space, never to be heard from again.
Goodbye, people.
The end.
That was nice.
That was good, guys. I mean, hey, you know, I feel like if the listeners are maybe a little scared, hey, UberClass, if you're a little scared right now, I think even Boone would understand a little bit of that. A little bit. Come on.
Well, I'll only beat you a little bit if you're scared.
See? That's nice. But you should be scared of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, I wanted to talk a bit about some weird things. You know what? Irrational fears. I wanted to talk about irrational fears. Now, I briefly mentioned that I wanted to mention this topic. Neither one of you seem to know what to say to this. And I didn't really tell you mine, but I know that you, Boone, you know mine already.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a lifelong irrational fear. It's very, very irrational. And, Mom, if you chose this episode to be the one to listen to, I'm sorry you have to hear what comes next. But anyway, yeah, the look on your face, Tom, just sold that pretty well. So, okay. Boone, do you have an irrational fear?
I don't know. Let's see. Forgetting my keys.
That's scary, yeah.
I always check my pockets. I'm like, ooh, do I have my keys?
That's
Yeah, I'm with you there.
That's freaky, yeah. No,
That's-
I'm
yeah.
It's not the worst because I don't have spare keys anywhere. Like, no one has my spare keys. So if I'm locked out, I'm locked out.
Have you ever thought of just making a set of keys?
No.
You want to do that?
No.
Have you tried calling 911?
911, hey, guys, I'm afraid I might not have any keys.
Have you checked your pockets, sir? Yes,
They're there, but I'm afraid that they might be someone else's keys. Well, have you tried them in the lock?
Well, no, I'm
I
inside
mean,
the house right now.
I'm inside. I mean, that would be really inconvenient. It's cold outside. You see that storm? So I'm just wondering, like, if you guys could have some keys made for me and just bring them in. Yes, sir. We'll be right there.
20 minutes or it's free. That's how 911 works.
Yeah, that's how it works, you know.
That's nice.
Let me just ask the director of operations.
Well, I'll do anything for Clayton. Oh, he's a good boy.
UberCast X, the official podcast of Richard Nixon.
We should get him on.
We should get him on, yeah.
Yeah.
We should have him on.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
We'll have him in the next few weeks. You'll be hearing Richard Nixon. You may even see him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee, but you probably will.
See his flapping jowls.
Now, Tom, you had a real struggle with this one because I know you feel no fear because you are the fear expert.
It's
so
true.
That's why we had you on to make sure that if it's kind of like, you know, if you're going to do anything dangerous, you need a paramedic on hand. So if we get a little bit too scared, we got Tom here to put out the fear.
Yeah, we got a scientist. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There is no fear in science.
No. Science fears nothing. Nothing. So bring it on, irrational thought.
Yeah, I mean, as far as personally, I don't really feel like I have any rational fears. The only fear that I really have is of Clayton's strap.
Yeah, that's rational.
Rational.
That's a very rational
That
fear.
makes That makes sense.
I hear it's made of military-grade feet belts.
Oh, jeez.
That's what it's made out of? I never knew.
Okay, my irrational fear. I've got one. I've mentioned it on another show of ours, the Let's Play videos. But I'm scared. I can't walk behind horses. I can't do it. I just can't walk behind horses at all. I love horses. I used to ride horses.
Yeah?
I got like awards for riding horses well as a little guy, and I was great with horses. They were my buddies. We get along great. But I can't walk behind horses.
No.
Because I feel like what happens? You're walking behind a horse, and all of a sudden that horse fucking sneezes so hard his leg flies up and cuts your dick off with the fucking hoof. And speaking of dicks being cut off, my other big fear, my other big one,
Yeah.
I'm just terrified of a door slamming on my dick. Always.
Really?
Yeah, no, for real. Since I was like 6, that was like a thing. I was just terrified a door would just slam on my dick, and I'd feel it like go through all like the stuff in there and
The veins and the cartilage and
Yeah.
well, whatever it is,
Dick
is
cartilage.
Dick cartilage.
dick cartilage.
Yeah. Like
They call it the Jersey circumcision right there. That's what they call that.
Any specific kind of doors, like car doors?
Car door for sure. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
but,
you always said car door.
Yeah, car door is what
like-
I always said. Yeah,
I think it would be hard to inadvertently jam your dick in a door.
you'd think, huh?
As it
Did
happened.
I almost? What was my thing? Because you said you remembered me actually almost do. You said like I mentioned this, and you were like you almost did that once.
Do you want me to say this on the radio?
I don't know.
This isn't really
How bad is
radio.
it? Like yeah, well it can be.
Oh.
What? I don't know. You
I
remember a
don't
story.
want to
The thing
say
is,
it.
okay, I say things. Clayton remembers them. I told Clayton this, and he thinks it shouldn't be said on air. That's how bad this is, and I don't know what it is, but it's about me.
I think you should probably say it.
I know. I'll say it, and if it's too bad, you can beep it out,
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
that's
or be like, put something that's like, we had to remove this section of the programming because it's too bad.
It's that bad, huh? Okay, well,
Well, no, it's not that bad. It's just, probably... Okay. One time... The door! So it almost happened, John. It almost happened.
yeah, I'm gonna cut out a lot of that. I'm gonna cut out a lot of that. But wow,
I guess the viewers at home, the listeners at home,
Yeah.
will not hear this story that
but
I just said.
you'll hear some of it. This is enough.
like the thing I imagine is like when you said I thought like the Kool-Aid man just like through the door, like hey, just like
Yeah.
blast right through the middle
Yeah,
of the door.
just through a door. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah. Okay,
Probably
moving
gonna
on.
have to beep out what Tom said, too.
I am. Yeah.
Just keep the part in about the Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah! I know. I told you.
Oh, yeah.
I know exactly what I'm beeping
This
out
is
of. I
gonna
figured
be
it out. This is
pretty
gonna be a really
interesting,
funny
'cause-
episode because I'm gonna have to. This is gonna be like the prequels of Star Wars of our podcast. I'm gonna have to do so many effects on this stupid thing. Thankfully, one of which I don't have to do is put in that fireplace in the campfire in the middle of the room because you can clearly hear it, and that is actually there.
Yeah. It is.
Clearly.
Ouch! I burnt my
Oh,
wiener. Because I'm cooking wieners.
Oh yeah.
Want one?
No, that makes sense.
No. That's okay.
Okay, I'll keep my wieners to myself.
Hey, you know what? I think we should cut to our first story, guys.
Okay.
And now, okay, we got I'm super stoked about these guys being on the show. So, these are our pals, Hoveland 008. They have an awesome radio show, radio podcast, and amazing YouTube videos. Like, no joke, these guys are fantastic. So I reached out to them. I said, hey guys, can you put together a little spooky story for us? And you are in for a treat, my friends.
Let's just hit record before we say anything.
No, Adam. Well, I thought I'd hit record, but you must have came by and hit record again to stop it from recording.
Yeah, hey there, everyone. This is Adam and James from Hoveland 008.
Yep, I'm James. That's Adam over there.
Yes, they know that. Let's just get on with it.
Our friend John from UberCast
X, UberCast X.
UberCast X asked if we had any scary stories to contribute to their podcast.
And this is a coincidence because both of us are being haunted big time right now.
And which is weird because I don't believe in ghosts, but there's been a lot of strange stuff happening around my house.
And my house, too. We've been experiencing all the same phenomenons and what have you.
Yeah, like I've been hearing knocks at my door, and when I get there, there's nobody there.
I get that, too. Left and right, knocks at the door, window scratching.
It's always at like 2:30 in the morning. And there is window scratching, and there's, like, weird noises and moaning coming from just around my house.
See, I think most of my haunting stuff's happening a little bit earlier than that. It's always around, like, midnight.
Around, like, midnight. Well, I don't know. Mine's, like, 2:30.
And you know what I usually do is, like, when I get real freaked out, because I'm not good with this stuff. I've never been in a haunted house
I know.
before.
You're scared of everything. Yeah.
So I hear this stuff, and I see it, and then I think, well, I gotta get out of here. So I go to your house, and I've been meaning to tell you this, because sometimes, like, I don't mean to do it, but I just get freaked out, so I'll go and knock on your door. But then I realize, no, this is too late, so I leave. And then sometimes afterwards, I see you and your wife there arguing at the door, and I think, I don't want to. I'll wait till he's in his room, and I try to scratch on your window so that you'll know that I'm there, but you never seem to notice it. You don't ever come open the window. So I just been meaning to tell you, I'm sorry for doing that.
So you're the ghost that's knocking on my door at 2:30 at night and scratching on my windows. What's with all the moaning?
I'm not the ghost. I don't think. You know what? This reminds me. I think I died a few months ago. I'll bet that's what's going on here.
You think you died? Adam, when could you have died? You don't leave your house.
I got blasted off a cliff by a firework, remember? I almost died.
You walked backwards over a little knoll. You fell about 4 or 5 feet down on the ground. You landed on your feet.
But I think that's just, okay, but I think that's just reality's way of tricking me into saying, okay,
I was there.
Just try to go about your normal life and see if you can do it. But
I was there.
Because if you're a ghost, I'm a ghost, James.
You're not a ghost, Adam.
You probably went to my funeral and stuff, and you just can't tell me, because if you do, you'll unravel space-time.
That's not how space-time works, Adam. I didn't go to your funeral because you're not dead. I'm probably not going to go to your funeral when you are dead.
Maybe you can't remember it. Have you been the one doing the knocking and scratching on my door?
Why would I be knocking and scratching on your door at midnight?
Because you can't get in.
Did you ever think maybe it could have been your cat? Did you hear any other strange noises, like...
Yeah, but there's ghost cats, right? So, there's ghost cats.
No,
Did you ever think of that?
I'm pretty sure it was Bootsy Collins.
Yeah, that might, okay.
Did the noise stop around the time your roommate got up?
No, but I get it now. This all is coming together. Because it's the cat, because I'm a ghost, and that's how animals know, right? That you're a ghost.
Like in the movie Constantine, when
I never seen
Keanu Reeves.
I never seen it, right? But yeah, probably. Yeah. It's just, the idea is like, they know there's a ghost, so they don't...
Crow, so like the cat brought you back from the other side. Is that what you believe?
It could be that. It could be that. Is there a way to fix this? Because I would like to be brought back to life.
Well, there's only one way you could fix it. First, you have to paint your face like a cat. And then what you have to do is avenge how you died. And I think that's really the only option you have here.
Well, that's not good, because I'm pretty sure if you look at a cold hard facts, that fireworks explosion was your fault. So I'm going to have to kill you to come back to life, is what you're saying.
You were shooting fireworks at me when you walked off a cliff.
Okay.
And I was wearing those track pants, and they melted to my leg. I had to go to the hospital that night.
And it's a good thing, because you probably... And that's what I was...
If anybody, I might have died. Did I burn to death? Did you go to my funeral?
James, you know what this means?
What?
We're both ghosts, right? We're the only ones who can see one another. We're the only ones who are haunting each other. That's how this is going. We're both ghosts. We both died that night of the fireworks accident.
Nobody died that night.
I think we might have killed Greg. Greg was there.
Greg might be dead. But... No, I'm pretty sure Greg is dead. We did kill Greg that night.
We went to his funeral, but nobody
did go to Greg's funeral.
But nobody there recognized us. You know why?
Because we don't know Greg's family?
Because we were dead too. And I'd say that that's a pretty scary story.
Tim recognized us.
It's a scary story.
Tim was there with us, so was Jason.
Look, can't you just take this scenario
and
as
neither of those two were there that night of the firework incident.
You're always just trying to... Look, we just made a good thing for UberCast X, so let's just focus on that, all right? This is us signing off. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Adam, it's like April. It's clearly not Halloween. You can't just...
I think they're saving this for Halloween.
No, this is just a part of their podcast. They do this all the time. Scary stories.
Okay, well, happy Halloween! It's all I got. Sorry, it just goes. It's a scary
You're gonna make it sound a little ghost-like. Happy Halloween! And that's it. It's not Halloween.
You just did it. That's right. We're signing off.
It's not Halloween.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Hovland boys. Adam and James, we love you, and of course, happy Halloween to yourselves as well. No, it's April, like, what? I don't even know what day it is. Who gives a shit?
Oh man, I forgot to carve my pumpkin. I gotta get. After this, I gotta carve my pumpkin.
Yeah, get your pumpkin. Let's carve it. So, anyways, during that whole listening thing of our awesome pals over there at Hovland, we discovered that Tom actually has something he wants to. You have a story you want to tell us?
Ooh. Well, yeah, like I've always been like I don't have a lot of irrational fears, but I guess like over the break I was thinking about it, and snakes are quite frightening.
Yeah, snakes are pretty scary. I agree.
And so I found this story, this poem, really, that really lets you know what horrible, terrible things can happen when you deal with snakes.
Are we going to be dealing with the element of fear in this one?
I can't imagine how it wouldn't happen.
How about true terror?
True terror. This is probably the most frightening thing you're going to hear on this entire podcast.
Okay, if you get a chance, if you're listening to this, please just pause the podcast for a second. Put on a diaper because you are going to shit your pants.
You might want to just skip right over this. This is actually a story or poem written by the master of terror, Shel Silverstein.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, that guy's a fuckwit. I mean, a fucking loony, I guess. He's not a fuckwit. He's smart, but he's
a smart, terrifying man.
I think he's dead too.
Oh
my god.
Zombie man.
Oh my god.
Or a vampire.
So
okay, well let's hear this thing. Let's
see if I can make it through the whole thing.
Or a mummy.
Okay. Oh, I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor. A boa constrictor. I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it one bit. Well, what do you know? It's nibbled my toe. Oh, gee, it's up to my knee. Oh, my, it's up to my thigh. Oh, fiddle, it's up to my middle. Oh, heck, it's up to my neck. Oh, dread, it's up to my...
Holy shit!
Damn, man.
Oh man, that's too much. Come on, dude.
I'm surprised I got through that.
You're sweating.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Well, it was like I was actually being eaten by a boa constrictor while reading that.
Holy shit, dude. That's messed up. Who writes this shit?
Master of Terror, Shel Silverstein.
I knew it. Oh my god, I knew it. Wow. Okay, you know what? We need like a palate cleanser. Boone, you say you've got something like something of ancient Japanese descent? Like
yes, I have an ancient, terrifying Japanese story.
Have you ever heard his ancient Japanese story before, Tom?
Not that I know of.
Okay, well, you're in for a treat, my friend. It's a very scary story.
Yeah. It's I scared everyone on my birthday.
That's it.
Remember when I told that story?
I do remember that. That was a very good episode of UberCast X at your birthday, whereupon it wasn't an episode and you were just talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. UberClass, prepare for my story. The setting is ancient Japan. And it's on a night with a full moon. Imagine this. Full moon in Japan. Okay. So, the theme of this is a trail in the forest. And there's a samurai, or a ronin, walking through the forest, down a trail. You know, he's walking, nice strut, because he's a samurai, a ronin. He's like a badass. Nothing to fear. He can cut down anyone. So he's walking. Just then, he sees a naked old man walking towards him. He's like, that's really strange. But, he doesn't care. He's just going to keep walking. So, while he's walking, he realizes the old man is right in his path, and he won't get out. So, he's like, wow, what? That's weird. Why doesn't he get out of my way? I'm a samurai, and he's a naked old man. So they're walking, getting closer together. Just then, the old man's right in front of him. And he stops. And the old man's there. Just then he turns around, bends over, spreads his butt cheeks, and there's an eyeball in his anus looking at him. The end.
I have goosebumps.
I have an erection.
You gonna poke that eye out?
That is such. So here's the thing about that story, Boone. Can you explain where that story comes from, for real?
Oh, Japan.
Is it real though? Like, did you make that up?
No, that's an old story.
That's an actual Japanese legend, right?
Yeah, they have weird ass legends, like the Tanuki. They're like Japanese raccoons, and
They have giant balls.
they have huge balls,
And they're real.
which yeah,
I didn't know they were real. All these years I just found out they were real.
yeah, they're real.
And they have huge balls.
Huge balls, and there's like old ass Japanese portraits. These like really, it's like it shows like the Tanuki swinging their balls around at the samurai as weapons, and that's weird.
So once again I ask you, Boone, are we actually supposed to be Japanese?
No. yeah, we're supposed to.
I feel like
Look
I
at
feel like
us.
we should have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom, you're clearly of. Let me see. Where would Tom be from properly? Like, where is he supposed to be?
I don't know. What's a land of science?
Atlantis?
Atlantis, because you
yeah.
kind of look like Aquaman, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
And
good.
Leonard Nimoy,
Oh,
because he was on In Search of. He was always. It's like, where did this come from? America, Europe, Atlantis. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, where are we going now?
I think I've got another story to tell. This one's a little bit shorter than the last one. The last one was a little too long.
Yeah.
Now, from my personal experiences, I've suffered in the past from, I guess, that whole thing where you see shadow people, you know?
Oh.
But except I'm always able to move with that. That's kind of a weird thing. But I found this story just because I was interested with the name of it. And that's honestly it. I haven't read this story, so... It's called At the Foot of My Bed. And in the past, I have seen shadows at the foot of my bed. What do they call that again? Tom? Expert, what do they call that?
Are we talking about, like, the old hag?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
What is that called?
Oh, it's called sleep paralysis.
That's it, sleep paralysis. Thank you. I totally forgot. But sleep paralysis is when you can't move and you see like the shadowy figure at the foot of your bed, or the old hag on your chest. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard
where
of.
the story of incubi come from.
Yes.
Is from that.
Now I'm going to read this story, which may have nothing to do with that. I don't know. And then I'd like for Tom to give a scientific explanation, if that's possible. Do you think that makes sense?
No.
Okay, good. So here we go. At the foot of my bed. Every night for the past week, as my eyelids grow heavy and I slip into unconsciousness, he comes out, his hands grasping the metal railing, rising 1 inch at a time. He peeks out his head first, black and featureless, a pair of cobalt blue eyes set high up where the eyebrows should be. Then out come his shoulders, then his chest, until he's fully upright. He looks like a store mannequin, sexless, starved. I know I'm sleeping, but my eyes are open, and I see him. But I can't bring myself to talk to him, or reach out to him. The gaunt man just stands there, his eyes transfixed on mine, his breathing shallow and ragged. On Monday, the gaunt man reached out a thin hand with long fingers and pulls back the sheets covering my legs. He drags his fingers across my heels, or up the soles of my feet, leaving long trails of red that stain my sheets. It felt like a nightmare, the kind you can't wake yourself out of. Tuesday, I caught a glimpse of him in my bedroom mirror. His back was the same as his front. His cobalt blue eyes found mine in the dark room and just watched me. As I slept, he dragged his fingers across my legs all the way down to my toenails, scratching them. There's always pain in the morning. There's blood on the sheets, scabs on my legs. He loves mirrors, this I know. He likes to look at himself when he comes out from under the bed. Oh, it's a monster under the bed. Shit, that's spooky. Wednesday, he just stood and stared at his own reflection, as if he were in love with it. His front stayed fixed at me. Thursday, his eyes moved, shifted across his face until they were in just the right place. When this was done, he crawled into the bed beneath the covers and lay beside me. The way he felt when my hand brushed his skin, it made me think of rotted shellfish in a freezer drawer. Friday morning, he was gone. My feet were a bloody mess. Just trying to stand up felt like a dozen needles running through the soles of my feet. I saw him in the puddle I made on the floor. Don't ask me how I could tell, but he looked like he was smiling. I went to see a doctor about it. He sent me to a shrink. I've showered 3 times already, but I still smell like rotten shellfish. Friday night, he was leaning over me as I slept. He looks proper now, bit round in the waist, same as me. Saturday morning, I missed the appointment with the shrink. It's hard to type now that he's in my monitor's reflection. He's dragging his fingers across the back of my hands, up my arms, all the way to my shoulders. I can't see the letters all that well. For the blood, my eyes are all wrong. He's fading now, but from the creaking of the boards in the next room, I know he's in the bed. Don't ask me how I know this, but it's his bed now. Tomorrow he'll be in my rearview mirror. Come Monday, I'll be the one standing behind him as he looks at his reflection in the bathroom stalls. I look at my reflections. My eyes are cobalt blue.
Yeah, sounds like what you have here is a eunuch sex offender living under your bed.
Oh, I knew it!
Yeah.
Okay, see, totally explainable. Nothing weird about that at all.
Yeah, no, that happens.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that does happen. Yeah. What were you saying?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. So,
Or it's a metaphor for chronic masturbation.
I try not to laugh at that. I hate laughing at your stupid jokes.
It's not a joke.
I wrote that.
Yeah.
Speaking of not a joke, let's go to another good story. Our old pal, Bill Will, who will introduce himself as a proper name, has a very quick little story to tell us about something spooky that's gone down in his life.
Ooh.
So, let's listen in.
Spook away.
All right, so my name is Will Beatty, and I have a little nighttime story for you guys. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I was up north in Bathurst, where my grandparents lived at the time, and I was staying overnight as I was on my way traveling somewhere else. And I was staying downstairs in what was more or less an unfinished basement in a bedroom that I had always been told that my great-grandfather used to take naps in. And so anyway, everybody had gone to sleep at this point in time, and I actually came across a Bible that great-grandfather, actually owned, and it was really interesting because he had actually written little kind of ideas and things that he was thinking about, I guess, at the time when he was reading that. So I stayed up quite late checking this out, and what became kind of odd is I remember waking up having fallen asleep reading this, and I'm quite certain that I turned off the lamp that was right next to the bed. But what was a little unsettling is that I woke up to the sound of the light turning on, or so I think I did. This is what's up for debate. And the light was on again. So this was a really unsettling feeling, and I remember actually not going back to sleep, and I think I actually left the light on after I thought that it had woken me up being turned on again. So you can take from that what you will. It definitely creeped me out. Thank you.
Well, that was slightly eerie. Well done, Bill Will. We love you for being on our show, finally.
It's about time, Bill Will.
It is. Tom, what do you think about that?
I'm on the phone with 911 right now. Like, that was terrifying.
That was terrifying. I agree. Okay, well, we'll let you deal with that. I want to tell a true, this is my scary story, a real one. And since Bill Will inspired me with his real scary story, I want to talk a bit about what's happened to me in my life. And one time, years back, I drove you home, Mr. Boone.
Yeah.
It was late at night. I drove you home, and I was driving back down the hill. And of course, up here in Fredericton, it's always slippery. It's always winter. Always.
All the time.
All the time. So anyways, I'm driving home down the hill. I'm coming down Old Smythe Street at the time. and I hit a patch of ice. And my car ends up sliding and kind of coming out of control a little bit. And I end up grinding up a snowbank. Like, I'm grinding alongside. Like, I'm doing a sweet skate trick. Woo! Yeah, that's basically what's happening. So I'm sliding along this snowbank, and everything goes slow motion, and I'm just like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And I'm sliding sideways, so I'm about to hit a light post. And that's all really... Nothing weird about that, right? But, and I'm getting the adrenaline rush, everything slows down.
Yeah.
But then I, like, look straight ahead of the car. So I look straight off into the trees. Which, by the way, a lot of dead bodies have been turning up in this set of trees lately. It's Odell Park.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of another thing altogether, but never mind that. I look straight ahead, and I see a man standing there looking at me, smiling through the trees. And I'm talking, this guy, like, he kind of... I try and think of how to describe him. He smiles. He's got a very sharp set of features. He's kind of slim. Dark hair that's slicked back. He looks... And this is funny, and this is something that's been going on way before he was ever cast. He looks a lot like Loki from the Marvel movies, for his face. So a lot of you ladies wish he was haunting you. But this is my dude right here. I've seen him around, and that was probably like...
That was that was before I had a car.
Yeah, so that's like got to be like 10 to 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
2000, I don't know, 2?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like right out of high school, pretty much. So I saw him in the trees. At the last second, I was like, huh? Like, it freaked me out. I don't know what I did. I flung the wheels a few times. I did something, and I ended up, like, I was about to slide straight into a pole. Like, it would have hit my side, so it would have been pretty shitty for me. But I did something, and my car ended up spitting out into the road, and I ended up facing the kind of... I was safe, anyway. Somehow nothing really bad came of that, but I saw that face, and I looked back, and he was gone, of course, because that's how these things go. A few years later, I'm tree planting with you, Tom Wise. We're tree planting. That was a good time in itself. There's a bunch of scary stories in themselves right there. But one day, I'm
D-Bag, if you're listening, we're coming for you.
D-Ball.
Oh, D-Ball, not D-Bag. I apologize, D-Bag.
D-Bag, we didn't mean anything to you. It's just D-Ball.
Oh, you were thinking about Bone Sack.
Oh,
yeah, Bone Sack. Hey, Bone Sack, what's up? You're a scary story. It wasn't Smythe Street, it was Hanwell, I just realized, but whatever.
Yeah, Hanwell.
But anyway, okay, Bone Sack, because you don't make me think of that Bone Sack. He had his whole Hanwell, like, it all happened there, too. Maybe that was the spirit of Bone Sack.
Maybe that is Bone Sack.
Maybe I'm being haunted by Bone Sack.
Bone Sackin' in the clickle-clackin'.
If you're not sure what we're talking about, check out episode 12 of UberCast X. Thank you. And I'm told it's our best one.
Yeah.
Tom agrees.
Tom agrees.
Tom's the one who told us that.
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Yes. He only wanted to come on because he's like, hey, they finally don't suck that much.
They're not bad, woo!
But anyway, yeah, Bone Sack. Okay, so anyway, quite a few years later, I'm dozing off in the back of a tree planting van. That's what we do. That's pretty much half the job. And I'm dozing off, and I'm like looking over in the trees, and I'm just watching them go by. And all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I see his face again, smiling at me through the trees. Nothing really too weird about that. It's just a, figment of my imagination. Now, the big one comes last year. And that was about a year now, right? Probably about a year. It was last summer, I think. I'm sleeping. Or no, I just came to bed. And I curl up and I roll over and I put my arm around a Nick. And I got my eyes closed. And then for some reason I just, felt like opening my eyes. I'm not sure what happened. But I opened my eyes and I see him. He's right in front of me. He's just over a Nick. He's, looking down at her and then he, tilts his eyes up at me. He's smiling. It's right in front of my face. And usually, the idea of shadow people and stuff like that, you don't really get to see a face, nor can you move. But I saw him very clearly. I looked at him for a second, took a second to figure out, whoa, there's someone there. And I threw a full-force punch right in front of Nick's face while she was sleeping. I'm glad to see that I would react that way in a scary situation. But I saw this man, and I straight up saw it. I don't know how I could even be asleep at that point at all, but I just flung a punch at this guy as hard as I could, and Nick jumps up, she's like, ah! And I'm holding her, I grab her, trying to hold her, I'm saying, oh, it's okay. And I'm looking around, where is he? And he's gone all of a sudden, typical. So I look insane. But that's my story, and that's the last I saw of him at this point. So there you go. Tom, scientifically, I want you to explain what happened there.
Angels.
Oh, angels! Angel! I love angels.
Yeah, that's your guardian angel, John.
He's creepily looking at you from the trees.
They're not all nice.
No.
What kind of guardian angel did you think you would get?
Yeah, I probably deserve that.
Yeah.
A creepy ass like creeper like
Yeah.
looking at your girlfriend like
Yeah.
oh look at her.
Look at that. Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Creepy angels.
That explains everything.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's the science behind all this shit.
Yep.
Well, there we go. Science prevails.
I'm jealous.
Okay, now speaking of science prevailing and my girlfriend, or whatever, basically, Annick has a story to tell, so we're going to listen in on that now, okay? Annick, you're up.
Hello, everyone. My name's Annick, and here's my scary story. It was when I was in high school, and I was staying over at a friend's house. She had a guest bedroom in the basement, and so I stayed over. We had a sleepover type of thing, and we watched some TV in the basement, and then we were like, okay, let's just go to bed. And my friend was convinced that her house was haunted. Like, this had already happened a lot of different things had been going on that she was telling me about, and she was convinced that like her house was haunted. So anyway, we went to bed and we were just like laying in bed chatting and talking about all sorts of things. Then all of a sudden we both went silent, and I saw something because it was pitch black. It was a basement, there was no windows, there's no light whatsoever. And I swear I saw a sort of silvery, sort of, I don't know how to explain. It was almost like a wavy thing. It was, or like a cloud. It was a little bit weird, but it was sort of glowing. And we were laying in bed and it was in front of us. And so we both went silent, and I think we were really terrified because the both of us didn't want to talk about it in the moment, or else we probably would have, freaked out. So we both saw it. I knew at the time we both saw it because we both went silent, and then I don't know who of us broke the silence, but we started talking about something else just to kind of not talk about it. And then the next day, we went to sleep anyway, and I was terrified. And then the next day, I asked her, I was like, did you see that, like, thing when we were, like, sleeping in the bedroom there? Like, did you see something? And she was like, yes, I saw it too. I know exactly what you mean. I was too scared to say anything at the time, but I'm sure I saw a silvery, and she described it to me before I was able to describe it. So we saw the same thing. It was a silvery sort of like cloud. It didn't really have a shape or anything. It was just sort of in the air in front of us. And yeah, so her basement was definitely haunted, and that is my scariest story. And it's real. It's a real story. This isn't made up. That actually happened to me, and it actually happened to her. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Wow, what a 1-2 punch of terror.
That's so true, huh?
Yeah.
Good job, hon. That was a very scary story.
Yeah, I was terrified.
I can honestly say, like, I've pissed myself 3 times.
Yeah?
3 times. Yeah.
It's pretty hot. I mean, gross.
Damn it.
There's nothing scarier than not knowing if you know how much piss is in your pants.
Now, Tom, scientifically, is this true? Is there anything scarier than that?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Not knowing how much piss is in somebody else's pants. I know this right now because I'm sitting next to you on a couch.
Oh,
That's terrifying because my pants are touching your pants.
Thank you for that.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah. Let's see, yeah. Yeah.
we're telling freaky stories.
Freaky story. Oh
We're
my
telling
god,
freaky
you know
stories.
what?
Happened to a friend of mine. Dan, 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 dan.
Man, these freaky stories are pretty good, but not as good as the one that happened to me. This is a real life story.
I don't know this, do I?
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
excited.
I finally worked up the courage to tell it. Okay, this is back in the day. Back in the ancient times when I still had internet. Okay, so here I am at night, looking at not porn for a change. And I was on Wikipedia reading about the Mothman. So here I am reading about the Mothman, creeping the shit out of myself. Just then, my Lord of the Rings poster falls off the wall and scares the shit out of me. Any other time that Lord of the Rings poster fell off the wall, I'd be like, oh, yeah, well, whatever, man. But no, it had to be right when I was reading about Mothman. There you go. That's the scariest thing that ever happened to me.
Oh my god, that's truly terrifying.
That is.
My god, Lord of the Rings is scary enough as is. Steven, if you're listening to this, just take a break, my friend. You need a break. Wow. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we finally get to hear your story. And now, Tom, you again are immune to fear. You've got no scary stories?
Well, the only frightening thing that happened to me, well, this has happened several times, and I don't know that I've really talked about this. We kind of alluded to it earlier, but I've had situations where I've been lying in bed or on a couch, and I'm not facing the door. But you know how sometimes you know that there's somebody watching you?
Yeah, totally.
You're laying there, and you know somebody walked through the door, and you know that they're standing there right behind you, waiting to kill you, and there's no escape. And you try to move, and you can't, and there's nothing you can do, and you know that it's all over. And it's times like that that you realize you're experiencing sleep paralysis, and it's actually quite a common thing, where you're not quite asleep and not quite awake, but your body is still in a paralyzed state, which likely was something that was beneficial to our ancestors, our primates, that lived in trees, and that the reason you can't move is just that, and it's just a normal thing, and there's no one there, and it's fine. And then you go back to sleep, and you wake up the next morning, and you're completely rested, and you only vaguely remember anything happened, and it's really not that big of a deal. Or is it? It's not.
Da-da.
Or is it?
Ta-da!
It's probably fine.
That is phenomenal, Tom.
Yeah. So now you know, like, you think you got a ghoul on your chest? You don't.
No.
You're full of shit. You're not falling out of your tree, dumbass.
Speaking of falling out of a tree, my dearest friend Ian Estey has a great story for us, and it's the tale of the one-eyed chicken.
Oh, freak.
Yes, gobble gobble. Listen up, folks.
Hi, I'm Ian Estey, and this is the very spooky story of the curse of the one-eyed chicken. So, a funny thing about me, I spent about half of my life from the time I was in my late single digits, so about 9, 10, till about my 17th year in life, spending most of my time from like May till October in a place called Coles Island, New Brunswick, a very rural, very farmy, very hayfieldy country community. And when I was spending that time out there with my dad, one of the things that I had to do, now a lot of you city guys might not appreciate this, but I actually had to kill my own food sometimes. So that's the kind of way I was growing up. I had one half of my winter life in the city, in the St. John's North End, and another half out there in the hayfields of Coles Island, New Brunswick. And if you haven't heard of it, there's probably a reason. So anyway, one of the things that my father decided he was going to do is he was going to go out and get some chickens, and he was going to raise chickens. So it became one of my responsibilities to do things like go out and get eggs and, clean the chicken coop, which, by the way, if anybody's done that, that's a spooky story all into itself because, like, seriously, chicken dung, pretty gross. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a particular chicken. So my father wound up with this flock of chickens. Interesting side story to these chickens, which we will not explore, is they all had hay fever. I know. And so these hay feverishly infected chickens were very ornery and grumpy. None more so than the one-eyed chicken. Now, the one-eyed chicken, of course, as his handle indicates, or her handle indicates, is a chicken with one eye. Now, this chicken was a very interesting creature. It was very aggressive, it was very old, and it was very mean. And it was very well known and well documented, too, that if this chicken looked at you with its one good eye, something bad was going to happen to you that day. And it became sort of a punishment for all of the local kids who had to work and come and hang out, that if they were bad, they had to go to the chicken coop and face the one-eyed chicken. So there was this, I don't want to say I was a bad guy. I grew up, I went to school, I went to college, I got a job, I did all the responsible things that people should do. But, I was a bit of a handful as a child, and I don't mean in such a way as that I was a handful that, I needed to be beat or whooped every day, but I was certainly a handful that should have been beat and whooped every day. And it was very, very interesting. I would do things that really shouldn't be done. And this one time, I decided that I was going to throw a rock at a pane of glass that my father was saving to put a window into the house at. And that was it. The glass was broken. I threw the rock. I was caught dead to rights. So that day, at supper, my father asked me about this pane of glass, which was spooky enough, trust me. And I said, Dad, I didn't do it. And he said, well, you might not know this, but your mother saw you and told me. Oh. So, now, this is it. He said, no, cut a switch. No, get a strap or taken off the belt. No, not for Father. Father said, tomorrow you get breakfast. And I thought that was a pretty light punishment. I said, okay, all right, I can do that. I'll go get the eggs and I'll clean the coop too. No, that's not what you're going to do. I feel like chicken for breakfast. Bring me the one-eyed chicken. Well, that was it. I was frozen. I was just ordered to bring my father the one-eyed chicken. And when you're ordered to go and get a chicken for food, well, you've got to kill it. The thing about this is now I've got to go get the one-eyed chicken. And again, it's cursed. It's very, very well known that if this one eye looks at you, you are going to have something bad happen. And we would go into the pen. Now, Father would torment us with this all the time, and we'd have to go in the pen, and we would do everything we could to ensure that that chicken's blind eye was turned to us at all times. And, sometimes you'd step on a rusty nail, sometimes you'd step on a pitchfork, sometimes you would step on the rake tines, and, the shaft of the rake would biff you between the eyes like Sideshow Bob. But, you would just dodge this thing or sneak up behind anything. So there I am, trying to stealthily, because you didn't dare disobey Dad. Spooky story unto itself. And you would I did try, to sneak up behind this chicken, between its wings, right behind its tail feathers. And it wasn't working, because this chicken had developed a sixth sense. And this chicken was now aware that I was stalking it. So it was looking around, and I'm hopping from left to right and right to left. And trust me, man, chickens can pivot on a dime. Like, chickens twist and turn. They're flexible that way. So I'm terrified, because if the chicken looks at me, something bad is going to happen. This is just awful. So I've got myself my knife, because I know what I've got to do. And I finally, in a feat of agility and stealth that a young preteen has never, ever accomplished before and probably will not accomplish again, I stealthily grabbed that damn chicken by the neck, which is another funny story that I will not digress on, but this chicken took me for a ride while I had it by its neck. Now, typically what happens is when a younger person on a farm has to kill its food, what you have to do is you have to practice a long time before you get to use an axe. So on a farm, what they have is this cone close by the chicken coop. Very spooky. And this cone is usually made out of something like aluminum or sheet metal of some kind. And it's a cone. It's narrow at one end and it's wide at the top. And it's usually, nailed to something very firm, like the corner of the chicken coop. And what you do is, you've got this chicken squawking and squawking by the neck and one arm, and it's flapping around. You've got to reach down and grab it by the feet. Now, an inexperienced chicken wrangler would tell you that you should hold on to the neck as well, because they're amazingly agile. And if you decide you're going to hold it by the feet, you're going to get your hand pecked. So I'm very smart. I know what's going on. I've got this thing by the neck, and I'm making a very concerted effort to make sure that the one eye isn't looking at me, right? So I've got it pointed to the sky, and I take this thing, and I shove it into that kill cone. Oh, that's what they call it, a kill cone. So I put this chicken into the damn kill cone, and it only takes me a second. I got to let go of its head, and I'm not even thinking. I throw this head down into this cone feet first. I grab it by the beak. I take my real sharp knife and off with his head. Whoosh! Off with her head. Whoosh! And the, chicken stuff goes flying. All right, it's blood. So the chicken blood goes coming right out. I'd throw the head to the ground, and with a horrific sight, it lands with its good eye up, and it looks at me. Now, you guys in cityburgs and, these areas where you think all of your food just appears at a grocery store, I want to tell you something. If you've ever heard the phrase running around like a chicken with its head cut off, that is completely based in reality. Except now I'm dealing with a cursed chicken, and its body is in this very deep sheet metalish cone, and it jumps out. The chicken's body jumps out of the kill cone, spewing blood in all directions, and it chases me. I am not kidding. I am running in this very big chicken coop from the left corner to the right corner to the back left corner to the back right. And wherever I go, like Muhammad Ali, this chicken is just cutting my corners. I can't get away from it. I look down at where this head is lying, and I swear with every bit of my being that eye is watching me run around the chicken coop. And it is directing that horrific, awful, undead chicken body. I screamed in terror. It was awful. I was screaming. I was like 10 or 11 years old, too. I wasn't, I'm not even sure if and crying and panic, and I climb up the chicken wire, and the chicken wire collapses, and there are chickens running for their freedom. I'm running out of terror, and this damn chicken body goes right through the chicken wire hole I just put in the chicken wire fence. And to this day, I cannot, and I will not, cook a chicken.
Now this guy can tell a story.
Oh, you have no idea.
I was, what, let's just play this instead of...
the rest of the episode?
Yeah.
So just put it on a loop?
A loop, yeah. Erase all of our stuff.
Just put that in.
Put that on a loop with all the other stories, too.
We should just get Ian on for an episode. Ian's great.
Yeah.
He's got other stories. He's told me stories you wouldn't believe. I love Ian. So anyways, Ian is a great guy. He's actually one of the co-directors on the movie 5 that I talked about recently that I worked on. And actually Adam from Hoveland 008 also worked on that as one of the sound people. So that the good bunch I met on that movie set, it was great. Ian, check out Ian's work at www.5themovie.com. We love you, Ian. Thank you very much, buddy. And McGloin has a hard-on for you. But anyway, I'll get back. No,
well, that's awkward.
That's awkward. Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
God.
Ian. Remember I told you my friend's kid's name? We nicknamed him McGloin, and I talked about what he's gonna be. Well, this is Tom, and it's his kid. So
I don't know that he actually has a hard-on for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's capable yet, but
I don't know. I don't know.
You're supposed to know all this stuff. You're supposed to be scientifically like an expert.
True.
When are you expecting? When's McGloin coming out?
June 20th is the due date.
Oh my god.
Which is pretty spooky.
Oh, man.
That's terrifying.
That's a scary day.
Yeah.
He's gonna come out with his... just stagger out and be like, oh god, my hernia is acting up.
Oh, my prostate. There it goes again.
Flaring up. Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. So McGloin, we're looking forward to McGloin coming out both in movie form with Ian and I someday, and in your son form, of course.
I'll have him on the podcast.
Yeah, I just sit there like,
oh, fucking, oh, my teeth hurt.
Oh my god! When you have a son someday and he finds out about UberCast X.
Oh,
God, I know, right?
He'll never be able to listen to this.
He can't listen to this. Hey, McGloin, we love you either way. You know that. Uncle John loves you. But anyway, okay, let's move on. We got one more quick little story we're going to cut to. It's our old pal Ralph from previous episodes and Adventures with Tommy Tellerico. So that's a good time. So Ralph, take us for our last story, and then we're going to come back and see everyone off. Okay?
I need you to gobble down all these pills, son. Do it for Daddy. You love Daddy, don't ya? You love Daddy, don't ya?
You're a bad boy, Ralph.
All right. So we got one more spooky spaghetti to tell. I mean, creepypasta to tell. This one is the most important one of all creepypastas. Tom, you've never heard it before?
Nope.
This one is entitled... No, you know what? I won't tell you what it's titled yet, because that's kind of the punchline. Okay. So you're with your honey, and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she says, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone?
Oh, that's terrifying.
That is really horrifying, because it's like, really, who is phone? Who was phone?
Phone.
Oh my god, that's true fear.
Yeah.
Your damn ghost dog is freaking me out, dude. So, with that, we thank you very much for tuning into our Unlucky 13 Spooky Spectacular podcast. So follow us on Twitter at UberCast X. Check out our...
I actually have one more story.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sure. Okay. Now, you guys know that back in the 80s, I was on the police force in Detroit, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I think I've heard about that.
So, there was this big drug deal going down.
Yeah.
Okay. And
normal.
The actor who portrayed Red Foreman was the leader of this gang.
Oh, shit.
And
wow.
And they shot me till I died. Horribly.
You died?
I died.
Damn. Oh my god.
But
yeah,
they like reanimated me.
With like magic?
No, robotics.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, and they made me into like a super cop.
Oh.
Like a robotic cop.
So you were a police officer with mechanical parts?
Yes, that's what they called me.
Parts made from science?
Yes, they called me police officer with mechanical parts.
Huh.
Wow. That sounds awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And so everything was good.
Yeah.
But then things weren't so good. Because it turned out the Red Foreman, I couldn't kill him. Because he was the leader of a company that produced my parts.
Is that how that went?
I don't remember.
Okay, so
it was the 80s.
Yeah, the 80s. Everyone's coked out.
And then the guy had diplomatic immunity.
Oh, right, okay.
But I didn't care about that.
Oh.
Because I didn't care about that. And then Jackie Chan.
No way.
There was a hovercraft.
Okay.
And he had like a katana.
Wow, okay.
And a pianist.
Pianist,
yeah. And then the girl from Juno was there.
The girl from Juno, okay.
Yeah, and there was this like child rapist fellow. And she like forced him to kill himself.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now.
And Halloween the movie.
You're just looking at my DVD shelf, aren't you?
Lords of War.
John, you got a scary DVD shelf.
Jeepers creepers.
All right, bumping the microphone again. All right, so thank you very much for tuning in, folks. Follow us on Twitter at UberCast X. Join our Facebook at facebook.com/UberCast X. And, of course, our YouTube channel, which is going to have this in video form. We are on there at youtube.com/DUTANBLIZ. Dutan Blizz. It's the stupidest name ever, but it's what we're stuck with. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. It helps us a bunch. And give us a review. 5 stars is nice. 1 star is hilarious. I'll take it. And we'll start reading your reviews on the air. I do have one review on there, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I do. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say much about, who wrote the review. But here, stall for me, quick.
Okay. Well, he's loading up this review. I'd like to do a shout out to our sponsor, Ovaltine. Ovaltine. It'll get you through the day. And also, Branston Style Pickles. Branston Style Pickles. They'll get you through the day.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Thank you, Branston Pickles. They always get me through the day, and we're really thankful to have them as a sponsor. So our one and only review at this point, it's for 5 stars.
Ooh.
Okay, so the title is What Even? ? And the description says, these guys are crazy. And it's a review by a guy named Tim is Taken, ...
Tim is Taken.
So get on there and make some funny reviews for us. Seriously, we will read them all on the air. I love getting reviews on iTunes, or, you know what, even on YouTube. If you give us thumbs up, it'll help. We do post in a regular audio format on our YouTube page as well. Anyway, Tom, thank you very much for coming on for our spooky. We really spooky love you. And thanks for being on.
You're spooktacular.
Thank you.
Your science makes it all worthwhile.
That's true. I honestly thought fear was not really a thing, and then you explained it to me.
Yep.
And then you explained that it was not a good thing to do, right, Boone?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well,
whip your ass, my strap.
Okay, well, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening to the show, episode 13, Spooky. Much love to all of you, and sleep tight. Don't let the bed boons bite. Clayton, take us out.
Okay, UberClass, keep your eyes open, and I keep screwing this up. That's it. I'm taking my belt off.
Oh no! Ow!
I'm so angry that I keep screwing up. It's not my fault. It's yours.
Ow!
Oh, you shit!
Oh, no!
This is your fault.
I didn't do this.
Okay, so keep your stay sharp and keep your eyes open.